Okay, it's gamer time. What's up, guys? It's Rick. It's Rick and Vic. Rome is burning live stream.
Whoa! Oh, that's 1-2 punch for you.
Just want to say hello to all our zero viewers out there right now. Let them know that the love flows this way too.
Yep, Rome is burning. We still got shooters out here.
Today is the feast day of Saint Anthony. I mistakenly thought it was the feast day of Saint Athanasius, which is my saint, my patron saint. But I'm also a retard, so I didn't read properly. So it's not. But so I had stuff lined up to read about Saint Athanasius, but I still want to do a live stream today because it's still, I'm still laid off, guys. So if y'all can help me and some prayers for me that I'll find some at least some temporary employment soon, or we'll get back on the horse as far as the main job goes. I would appreciate it. But either way, I wanted to shitpost live with you fellas. Once again, I do have some stuff I wanted to read from the Saints of the Desert Fathers, from Saint Anthony, and another book that I'll get into when I get into it. So what's up, Vic? What's going on with you besides the stuff we just mentioned off air?
Yeah, not much. I'm just chilling, slowly getting ready to move out to a secret location that the audience doesn't need to know about.
Vic, okay. And looking at the chat here, Paul Blaine saying I'm a government worker. I'm not a government worker. I do work for a union, but it's not a government union. It just happens to be that right now there's no work, and I think the shutdown may have affected that. Usually we get a lot of federal contracts. But I do work for private companies, not godforsaken, half-commie fake job.
Slow down there, bro. You're gonna blow your cover at this rate, man. Can't keep telling him all these things.
Technically. Well, anyway. Rick is a Fed confirmed. Yeah, that's true. It's true. I'm a Fed. I wish I got that Fed pin. Rat all you guys out.
Damn. And then among other things, I've been trying to read more. I've bought a lot of books that I haven't touched, and I'm trying to change that. So I started reading. I think I'm almost done with Nihilism, which is like it's embarrassing because it's a short book, and I bought it months ago. Well, I guess it is. But I've started reading Way of a Pilgrim, which is so far pretty good. I like it. Yeah, that's about it. I have a bunch of other books.
Oh yeah. There's books I've started to read and I've put aside, told myself I'll pick them up later. I never did. There's books that I've consciously quit halfway through. There's books I've read 3 or 4 times in a row. That's just the way of it, man. Sometimes some stuff will grab you more than others.
Yeah, stuff like Warrior Cats really had me back in 5th grade. I was totally hooked. Where will the Cat Clan go next?
Warrior Cats? I've never heard this one.
It was children preteen book series. It was about these tribes of cats, of talking cats, and they were having tribal wars and shit. It was crazy.
so it was like YA material. They were the two of the cats make out with each other and stuff.
Oh no! It's
yeah, different ships.
There's no, it's not like that. It's like a I don't remember the details or anything, but it's I feel like it's about wars between opposing cat clans or something like that, and it's
They got here reading furry porn 2019, guys.
No, dude, it's the funny part is that it's these domestic ass cats, it's normal house cats, and it's they're so okay. If it was tigers, it would be cool or whatever, but these are unremarkable creatures.
Well,
I remember reading some of those books. Yeah,
there was a. I shouldn't get to the boring ass reading I had to do back when I was a kid. That's probably the most boring topic I could possibly get into. But there's something that I've noticed. My little sister, she's 17, Not once in her entire school career has she been made to read 1984 or Brave New World. I think they've phased out all these dystopian books.
I don't think I've read those. Maybe I've read 1984, but definitely not Brave New World, and that's the more crazy one.
Oh yeah, freaking, bruh. I got them for her. She's still at the age where she has a love and time to read voraciously. Whereas,
that's great. Yeah.
So I got them for her. I'm trying to get them to her soon. She can go through those before my dad ships her off to freaking college. I think, which I think is a bad idea. I've registered my distaste for it. It's in so many words.
I have read To Kill a Mockingbird in school, and that's as bad as it gets. That's just like it's like an ode to nihilism, and it's like there's nothing good about that book. There's nothing, like there's no like moral message other than like I guess try not to be like this guy. I don't know.
You can write that book these days.
Yeah, and
like, oh my god, you're gonna question a victim?
Yeah, bro, that's crazy. Yeah.
In this Me Too era.
I remember when I was reading, when we had to read it in high school. I remember when I read it in high school. It's not the first time I read it. I feel like I read it I had to read it in like middle school or something. And I remember specifically like, man, this book like sucks. Like, there's nothing good about this. Like, this character is not sympathetic. I'm not rooting for him in any capacity. Like, he's just a douche, and he is the source of all of his own problems. And everyone around him is giving him, he has all the tools he needs to become a better person. He just doesn't do anything.
Well, people would write books like that just to have like discussions with other people about the books. So people would be like, "Oh, he's not a sympathetic character, but does that qualify him for being treated unjustly?" He'd be like, yes, and you smell each other's farts. That's the entire point of those books.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and
the entire point of those books would be boring as hell, and then be dissected to death in English classes. I know it's someone who's an Englishman.
And I also one of the good things I've read in school, which was Othello, Shakespeare. And I really liked it. It was good, but the English teacher's she just had to. I don't want to rail too much on my English teacher because she was better than most. She was Catholic, so that's why. But like she couldn't prevent herself from alluding to that. I forgot the name of the character now. The guy who is the backstabber.
Mr. Iago.
Iago, yeah. Is Iago gay? Bro, he might be gay, dude.
Did anyone else think that Iago gay?
Yeah, I mean it was so stupid. Like, no, he's not.
No,
he's just a deranged. Maybe he is gay. Maybe he is. That would explain why he's such a crazy dude. I don't know.
Maybe he just hated the Moors like everyone else in that era did. I mean.
Yeah, exactly right.
Who wouldn't? They're a bunch of invading freaking robbery bastards.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's a friend of mine. Her last name is Matamoros. It's a Spanish name, and it just means Moor killer.
Wow.
And it's not very common Spanish name, but it's common that you've heard a couple of times in your life if you're among Spanish-speaking people.
Mm-hmm.
I looked it up. I'm like, oh, Matamoros just means freaking Moor killer. Yeah. And like, there are like Spaniard coat of arms instead of like little griffins or little French little triple leaf things. They'll just be like 10 decapitated Moor heads on their coat of arms.
Wow.
It's real nigga hours right there.
It's like it's sort of like when people say someone is so based for some historical figure so based because they didn't like Jews. Like no one liked Jews back then. It's not. It's not remarkable. It's not remarkable in any way. That was common.
Yeah, you were like people are a little more aware back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, these kids keep disappearing after blood drains. Probably the Jews.
Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about St. Anthony.
St. Anthony the Great. St. Anthony the Great. This is one of those things that, like, you kind of see how spoiled we are because he converted and became a monk solely on hearing the single parable of Jesus telling the young rich ruler to sell all his possessions.
Wow.
And he's like, whoa, I'm gonna go do that, and he goes and does that.
Do we know? From my understanding, we don't really know much about his life beyond that, right? Or do we? I don't know.
Oh, I mean, we know bits and pieces. I mean, we don't have full biographies like we do these days with saints and other people. You know, we live in an information age now. But you know, we kind of I think we roughly know what year he was born in, what year he died in. We know that Saint Athanasius, my patron saint, he was a student of his, and he wrote the Life of Anthony after Anthony died.
Mm. Oh, that's another book I have but haven't read.
Oh, that's fantastic! I was going back over it today. Okay, right here in the Saying the Desert Fathers. I'm gonna try to read the little big paragraph they have of his bio. I'm going to probably stutter like crazy, but let's see how it works out, guys. Anthony the Great, the father of monks, was born in central Egypt about AD 251. The son of peasant farmers who were Christian. In 269, he heard the gospel read in church and applied to himself the words, "Go and sell all that you have and give it to the poor, and come." He devoted himself to a life of asceticism under the guidance of a recluse near his village. In 285, he went alone into the desert to live in complete solitude. His reputation attracted followers who settled near him, and in 305 AD, he came out of his hermitage in order to act as their spiritual father. 5 years later, he again returned into solitude. He visited Alexandria at least twice, once during the persecution of Christians and again to support the Bishop Athanasius against heresy. He died at the age of 105. His life was written by St. Athanasius and was very influential in spreading the ideals of Gnosticism throughout the Christian world. There are obnoxious Protestants who will claim that monasticism is a Buddhist practice that false Christians stole and adapted. But you know, in the life of Anthony, there's no, he didn't travel to freaking China. You know, he didn't hang out in Tibet. You know, this is something that there's nothing in the monastic life that you couldn't read in Scripture. You know, both Old and New Testament. These are people who are selected by God. Really, they're truly called to do this. To just live a life apart from the world. There's a saying that the light of the monks is the angels, and the light for the world is the monks. So you know, not everyone is called to be a monk, and it's not like only monks will be saved. But you know, monks have a calling to be at a certain level of purity and intense detachment from the world that will inspire and lead other people. You know, laymen who kind of has to like us who kind of had to live in the world and kind of still live kind of one foot in, one foot out. They live essentially both feet out. I talk to there's a monastery I visit once in a while, and those guys. I mean, they're blessedly out of the loop on stuff. You know, they just have no idea what's going on. They'll be like, "Hey, yeah, this thing happened." I was like, "Yeah, that was like 2 years ago, but don't worry about it." And it's an amazing life if you can ever get the chance to visit an Orthodox monastery. Highly recommend it. This year I want to visit actually St. Anthony's over there in Arizona. It's a monastery in the desert set up under his name. Definitely want to visit that this year. That's my goal. One of the goals I have for this year.
Nice. I think the only monastery I've ever visited was one time in Serbia. We were in the south, like close to the Bulgarian border, and that's a really a lot of that is just wild, untouched nature there, right? With a few small villages and all that. And so I remember we were approaching the monastery, and there was a sign that had the dress code, no shorts, no no flip flops, no open no open toe shoes or anything like that. And we went there, and unfortunately there was no one there, but it was still nice to see the place. I think I think there's like a sign that said what they were doing there. I don't remember what the specifics were, but it was really nice. It was you would find the church. It was on top of a hill, and on the way up the hill, it would be like this field of grass to your left and forest to your right, and field of grass had this like really striking what's the flower called? Are they just called violets? Yeah, they're violets.
Purple.
The violet violets. It was really like striking, and it made the grass look. It had this like purple and green. It was like really beautiful. And when you get to the top, when you get to the church, and subsequently you can see the graveyard there, and you can see the monks who served there before, along with the bell tower. When you get to the top of there, you get a view of the entire like that sort of entire region. It's not. I mean, it's not the entire region, but it's a pretty huge view, and it was really nice. Yeah, that's my only monastery visit. Right now the closest one near to me is like 2.5 hours away in terms of driving. So yeah. I don't think that's not gonna happen anytime soon.
Road trip.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But yeah, it was really nice and totally worth it.
I have right now, I guess the St. Anthony quote that's passed around a lot and kind of named the current live stream after this quote. Let me see if I can find it here. These quotes. A time is coming when men will go mad, and when they see someone who is not mad, they will attack him, saying, "You are mad. You are not like us." Yeah, I'd say we're definitely living in that time. We're living in a time of complete human disconnection. Kind of similarly, there's a quote from Seraphim Rose. Someone had posted up in a different chat I have. Father Seraphim Rose said that the psychological trials of dwellers in the last times will be equal to those of the physical trials of the martyrs. In order to face these trials, we must be living in a different world. And this struck me out. I haven't read Father Seraphim's full biography, his life and times. I hear it's good. I'd recommend it to read it a bunch of times. And it's probably from that book. But man, this is something I think about a lot, because right now the kind of persecution or the kind of trials we face as Christians aren't really the old trials of like, do this or I'll kill you. They're just like, it's like a giant chess game with your entire life, where everything in your life is, they try to square everything against you living a good life. Or now there's hardly any companies you can buy from that don't, pledge allegiance to sodomy, or put out videos against toxic masculinity, or whatever. Like this whole Gillette thing happened. Everyone's talking about that crap, but it's like, okay, well, people try hopping over to like what that Dollar Shave Club, whatever it's called, but then they have like, but then they have like trannies in their ads, like finally a shave club for me. It's like there's nowhere to go, bro. Unless you're buying like an old timey straight razor.
It's
like,
ma'am.
It's ma'am.
Goes to get beard shaved.
Get beard stubble buzzed down. It's ma'am. Yeah, but it's like, so it's always this illusion people put out, like, oh, just do this. Oh, just get a straight razor. Oh, just like, but it comes to the point where like your entire life is just fleeing from the increasing creep of the world into your life. I mean, can you think of a single TV station out there doesn't have some bag shit on it?
Yeah, it's impossible.
I mean, I think everyone knows already about like just freaking Zogflix, the obscene stuff they put out. We mentioned that plenty of times.
Yeah, and
but there's not a lot of alternatives, I guess is what I could say.
Well, when it comes to like cable, I don't think there are. There's nothing on there that's even remotely Christian, unless you want to count like Sunday morning televangelists or like on TV as Christian, but okay. Yeah, it sucks, and like you said, all this nonsense is trying to creep into our lives, and give us the old razzle dazzle and shooketh us. But I think the key to dealing with it, and I say when I say this, I'm not trying to like say like I'm like, oh yeah, I totally nailed this because I can't do this at all, like barely. But basically, I realize that it's like, if you there's a lot in this world that doesn't make sense, and it's hard to understand, even if you understand it on like a technical level. You just gotta like treat it with like respond to it with humility, and just accept that there's gonna be some things like things that you're never gonna understand. Like how can like if you ever try to ask yourself like how does someone like become a tranny? Like how does that happen, dude? There's logical answers like, oh yeah, porn addiction, XYZ, but it still doesn't really it doesn't really exactly answer it doesn't really answer the question on a spiritual level. But yeah, you gotta like accept it on you gotta not accept it, I mean just be humble about it. And a relevant quote from St. Anthony, like obedience with abstinence. Actually, no, that's not the right one. But that's a cool quote. I get to it later. But yeah, it's just I really think that's like the only way to really live these days, and without going insane. You just gotta like accept. Not accept. I keep saying accept, but rather accept that you won't know everything, and you're not gonna be able to solve all the problems, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because of Paul Bunyan once again saying.
Yeah.
Over here, he says, I remember hearing about a guy who bought a house with the idea that he would keep his possessions at a net zero, no increases from the time of purchase. Every time he needed to replace something, he would go into an antique store and purchase something that was no younger than 100 years old. Everything from furniture to appliances, decor. Pretty soon, he basically was living on an existence in his home that was similar to that of his great-grandfather. That is a pretty cool idea.
That's awesome, actually.
And that brings me to something else I've been like shit posting about on Twitter. Is this show on Netflix called Tidying Up with Maria Kondo. She's a sweet little Japanese lady, and oh, isn't she so adorable? She makes little funny Japanese noises and poses and bow, but then it's like, oh, she's like a shrine maiden for 15 years, and she tells you like, oh, say thank you to your house and pray to the spirit of your house and pray to the spirit of all these little objects you have. There's little gods in there. And it's like, ignore Shintoist orders, guys.
Yeah, that's whack, man.
And dude, this is like, okay. I think this is like old CF territory here. Like this is some white shit. This is some white people's garbage. Where it's like, oh my god, it's exotic. It's just so exotic. Oh my god, Shintoism. I could pray to little objects. Everything has a little god in it. Wow. There was a dude who had posted something on Twitter a while ago, and it was so funny. And I was like, this is so true. And if I weren't a Christian, I wouldn't do it. Would be like right now there's a market to like sell to like the over 30s wine swelling white women, like to sell like a yogaized version of Islam to them. You could totally do it right now. Okay, by yogaized, I mean like how yoga has been kind of like denigrated into this lifestyle fitness thing where like you can buy a little yoga kit. You buy it comes with a little booklet, a little DVD, and the yoga mat. And maybe like a little foam ball or something like that, right?
And the CD with ambient binaural music frequency to enhance.
Exactly. You could totally make a kit like that today, like Islam themed, and sell it to white women. Be like, oh yeah, this is your prayer mat, a little compass, so you always know which way is east, so you can pray to Mecca, and a little pocket Quran, and
look, your own burqa.
Like a little cheat sheet with common Arabic phrases.
Wow,
God, it's so exotic.
I'm so cultured now, guys.
I'm so cultured, guys. Like there's a part in my freaking wife loves this show, and so I'm giving her grief about the entire time. and she's watching this show, and the part where this little lady, yeah, in the comments, less than 30 books. She advises you get less than 30 books.
What?
Dude, minimum 30 books, okay? Your library heard the 30 books. Give me a break. I'll buy more than 30 books in a year and won't even read half of them. Kidding me? I'll throw away 30 books a year.
Yeah.
But
was the reasoning for that explained, or did she just throw that out there?
She's like, oh, you just, it's a good number to set. You should only have things in your life that spark joy.
And 30 is such a good. It just 30 is a number. It gives me such good vibes. I mean, it's an even number, but 3 is an odd number. It just that dissonance really sends out positive crystal energy.
She's like, oh, Tiny Devil lives under stair. Told me magic number.
What the hell? Oh my god!
No, I'm kidding. She didn't say that, but if she said that,
she might as well have it.
If people would be like, wow.
That's crazy.
It's so exotic. But there's a part in one of the episodes where she stops in the middle of the house and she bows and she prays, and this white lady staring at her like just in awe. Like,
so wow. This?
Wow. Oh, wow. Like, bro, you could go across the street probably in whatever town you live in to a church and watch people pray. You really? It's just so like it foreign to you. You're so disconnected. You don't even know what prayer is like this shocking, exotic thing for you. Jeez, man. These crackers, bro.
I don't know, man. I might convert to Shintoism. It's such a Gemini thing for me to do.
Classic Vic and his Gemini habits.
Oh, what can I say?
What can I say, bro? I'm just fated by the stars to do certain things.
I have my crystals all charged up with the positive chakra. Oh man.
Do you remember that like Craigslist post where the guy is J.O. crystals?
Yo, bro. My J.O. when the crystal glows, man.
With the bros, bro. It glows, bro. I've seen it. Other people have seen it. So anyway, if you want J.O. with me and charge our crystals together,
and at the end of
like all this crab meat.
Yeah,
I just got too much.
Mm-hmm. And dude, and that guy's face, he's like some weird boomer. Well, not boomer, but Gen Z. I'm sorry, not Gen Z, Gen X.
No, he's definitely some sort of boomer. He has gray hair already.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But the last sentence of that Craigslist ad says, "You can come over for as long as you want, but I need a picture of you, preferably wearing a crystal before I waste my time."
Don't waste my time, bro.
Yeah, it's serious business, man.
I'm really serious with my jail crystals. I can't have just anybody walking in here.
Bro, if your jail crystals are not legit, I don't need you here, man.
Listen, bro, that's clearly glass, bro. That's not a real quartz. Get out of here with this freaking fakery.
It reminds me of how there's I don't know why it's a specific memory, but it's related. It's like this picture of one of the Kardashians going crystal shopping, and it's like this weird room, and it has all these like rocks on the ground. She's just like browsing it. Oh my gosh, wow! And I'm like, there's this Twitter post way back when, something about like the Kardashians being witches or something. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true, if that's true, but I'm like, oh, they do act like it though.
Kardashian slime.
Yeah.
Father Josiah Trenum.
Is that what he said?
I call them Kardashian slime.
Yeah, that's slime. Okay, that works. Oh, man.
The thing he said specifically was like has a single family done as much damage to this culture as that family has done? I was like,
yeah, that's a good question.
True,
yeah,
bro.
He's got a point. Yeah, and did you notice how every male person in that family like gets like screwed over, and every like Bruce Jenner becoming tranny, or I don't know the names of the other people, but they all get like their careers trashed or something like that. And
dude,
bad things happen to them. Like, damn.
Dude, maybe it's true. Maybe it's like a witch, like an old fashioned like Hecate female cult or something.
Probably, dude, or like how Ariana Grande, dude, and there's that whole thing where she's like I'm dating this SNL actor, and then when by the time they like broke up or something, dude, that guy, the SNL actor Pete Davidson, he looks like a zombie, dude. He has like he has like these huge bags under his eyes, and he has like sunken cheeks and everything. I'm like, dude, what did she do to him?
Well, she's into Kabbalah and stuff, right? Which is like weird Jewish mysticism, and there are some strains of Judaism that think there's like a male and female god, and like
Oh yeah.
and like the world ends when they bang.
Yeah, and even if that wasn't like if none of that stuff was the case for that singer, I'd still hate her just because she is just a very arrogant and insufferable person. I remember the one like I saw like on Twitter trending when Pete Davidson like was talking about I'm gonna kill myself or something like that, and she posted like, don't worry, Petey, or something like that. I'll be there for you. Even though maybe I'm not your girl anymore, you know, I mean, I'm not the one for you, but like, I'm just saying, like, why are you talking about yourself? You narcissist.
Nobody asked about you, bitch.
Yeah, it's like, shut up. And I think she like, oh man, you know what? I'm sorry, I totally derailed the original topic. I just hate celebrities. I'm sorry, chat.
No, dude, and this is it's weird, dude. Freaking these people are freaking weird, man. Celebrities in America
are not even like subtle about it. They're just straight up like wackos.
Okay, I posted recently that like in a chat we were in, Vic, that one of the craziest that happened in 2018 was Avril Lavigne became a Christian and started writing Christian music.
What? I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Like she did a song, and it's kind of like I guess a normie evangelical Christian stuff, which, you know, I mean, she could be singing worse things, you know. I'm not gonna be complaining too much about it, but then like she was married, and she got divorced with the guy she's married with, and it's like, oh, but we still love each other, and we still hang out together. We just like, why just stay married? What the hell are you doing?
Right. Yeah. It's.
We're still good friends. We still have kids together. We're still gonna like, dude. Just what? Why divorce then, dude? What are you doing?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. And yeah. I mean, yeah. I could go on and on about these celebrities, how like the strange circumstances surrounding certain like outbursts of behavior. Oh man. Yeah, dude. It's crazy, and and anything like the entertainment industry as a whole, and I mean, and anything adjacent to it, it's like I don't have to prove to you that it's a huge cult. They behave like one. Okay, I don't need proof for that, you know.
Yeah, everyone can see how weird it is.
Yeah. Anyways, I hate to do this to you, man, but I'm gonna be like Karen and the kids and hop off.
Karen, you contemptuous techno mage, release me from this UTI.
Anyways, yeah, I'll hang on in the chat though. With the weird, the chat is like the back alley of the live stream, man. It's like weird. There's a bunch of weirdos there. Whoa. I guess I'm gonna have to hang out with you guys though. All right, but have a good rest of the stream, bro. Peace out.
I'm just gonna ship out some stuff here.
See you.
Get that out of here. Yeah, so something crazy also, guys. And if anyone wants to hop in, you can DM me on Twitter, and I'll send you the link to join in. But something else that's been crazy about this, I got this book, and I got it a long time ago, and it's by a writer called Mary MacLane. It's called I Await the Devil's Coming. It's one of these books that's been sitting in my library. This is a book written. It's a private diary of a girl around the first centuries in 1901, and she was 19 years old. Just to give you a general, time frame of this time and location as well. She is from rural Montana. So, Montana, 1901. Pretty much as far removed. Well, not as far removed, but as far as the modern American context, a place you think will be pretty safe as far as negative influence goes. But this is what's so kind of crazy about this, is that this is a woman or girl really, who's this is like the edgy atheist, devil worshipping goth girl before there was such a thing as the internet with which to broadcast these thoughts. And as I'm reading this, you know what, I'm just going to read the first passage to you guys, the first entry here, maybe a couple other little pieces here. Butte, or Butte, Butte, Montana, Butte, January 13th, 1901. Hey, that's my birthday. I of womankind at 19 years will now begin to set down as full and frank a portrayal as I am able of myself, Mary MacLane, for whom the world contains not a parallel. I am convinced of this, for I am odd. I am distinctly original innately and in development. I have in me a quite unusual intensity of life. I can feel. I have a marvelous capacity for misery and for happiness. I am broad-minded. I am a genius. I am a philosopher of my own good peripatetic school. I care neither for right nor for wrong. My conscience is nil. My brain is a conglomeration of aggressive versatility. I have reached a truly wonderful state of miserable, morbid unhappiness. I know myself, oh, very well. I have attained an egotism that is rare indeed. I have gone into the deep shadows. All this constitutes oddity. I find, therefore, that I am quite odd. I have hunted for even the suggestion of a parallel among the several hundred persons that I call acquaintances, but in vain. There are people and people of varying depths and intricacies of character, but there is none to compare with me. The young ones of my own age, if I chance to give them but a glimpse of the real workings of my mind, can only stare at me in dazed stupidity, uncomprehending, and the old ones of 40 and 50, for 40 and 50 are always old to 19, can but either stare also in stupidity, or else their own narrowness asserting itself, smile their little devilish smile of superiority, which they reserve indiscriminately for all foolish young things. The utter idiocy of 40 and 50 at times. These, to be sure, are extreme instances. There are among my young acquaintances some who do not stare in stupidity, and yes, even at 40 and 50 there are some who understand some phases of my complicated character, though none to comprehend it in its entirety. But as I said, even the suggestion of a parallel is not to be found among them. I think at this moment, however, of two minds famous in the world of letters, between which and mine there are certain fine points of similarity. These are the minds of Lord Byron and of Mary Bashkirtseff. It is Byron of Don Juan in whom I find suggestion of myself. In this sublime outpouring, there are few to admire the character of Don Juan, but I all must admire Byron. He is truly admirable. He uncovered and exposed his soul of mingled good and bad, as the terms are, for the world to gaze upon. He knew the human race, and he knew himself. As for that strange, notable Marie Bashkirtseff, sorry. Yes, I am rather like her in many points, as I've been told, but in most things I go beyond her. Where she is deep, I am deeper. Where she is wonderful in her intensity, I am still more wonderful in my intensity. Where she had philosophy, I am a philosopher. Where she had astonishing vanity and conceit, I have yet more astonishing vanity and conceit. But she, forsooth, could paint good pictures, and I, what can I do? She had a beautiful face, and I am plain-featured, insignificant little animal. She was surrounded by admiring, sympathetic friends, and I am alone. Alone though there are people and people. She was a genius, and still more am I a genius. She suffered with the pain of a woman young, and I suffer with the pain of a woman young and all alone, and so it is. And she goes on like this, really self-absorbed. I mean, more well-written than most people write these days, probably just because people happened to meet had better attention spans back then. They were kind of like mind sucked by TV and social media, like all we are. But like just the character that comes through here just is one of extreme narcissism, disdain for other people, just this obscene levels of pride. And the title of the book is I Await the Devil's Coming. There's not just one reference to the devil here in like an honorable way. There's many references to the devil in an honorable way here. She sees the devil as this kind of a Miltonian dark hero figure, you know? And let me give you a clue about how this woman ended. This is the first book she released. It's her diary up until she eventually left to where did she leave to? She died under mysterious circumstances in Chicago. She was a silent film star, and she wrote her last book, I Am Mary McLean. I haven't gotten that one. I think it's only an ebook. Maybe I'll get it print eventually. Maybe not. But she died from the things I've read about her, alcohol poisoning. She was a drunk, and all of her films are gone. They're lost. So she just like lived this vapid life where she thinks she's like, bro, you think you're such hot shit, but within less than a generation after you died, no one remembers your name. People remember you as just like all the art you put out were lost, and you died alone and drunk. And this is like you read these stories about women who are like cat ladies, and they realize suddenly never have any children, and they like hang themselves immediately. There was a woman recently in the UK, I've read about her in the Daily Mail, that she's like 50 something years old, has this sudden intense realization, holy crap, I'm never gonna have kids. I put this off forever, and it's just never gonna happen for me. And the first thing she does is she goes to make sure her cats are taken care of after she dies, and she goes and hangs herself. Like this was that girl that we all know, a thousand iterations of this kind of girl. This was that girl before there was that girl, which shows you that there's no real safe place for you, man. People think like, oh, if I could just get my total trad life set up properly, if I could just get all the bad influences out of my life, I could just move my family, my new family I'm gonna set up to like a rural place and live like a nice little trad life, bro. The devil will follow you there just as easily. You can't autopilot your way through this conflict. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Let me read some let me get some comments here. Hello, fellow. We got Vic here. Hello, fellow slime balls. I am such a humble man to step down from the throne of co-host for this stream. Our bubbles with the lower class. Yeah, people are over here. Me, an intellectual. This is some serious pre-list. Oh boy, yeah. Me kidding? No kidding. Tumblr before Tumblr. God, how vapid could you be? The Satanist misunderstood / dark / anti-hero trope is so gay. Yeah, I mean, but it's right now I think it's the only way that the Satan concept is understood in popular culture. We have the other show, Lucifer, where it's like Lucifer is like this really cool, like like a bad boy. He owns clubs and he's all fashionably dressed. Let me tell you what the devils are really like, man. And like imagine a crackhead angel. That's the kind of personality you're dealing with. Like this. There's more than one monk who said that like if they were given free reign, a single demon can wipe out all of life on Earth in an instant. And that's how truly powerful they are. But they're restrained, thank God, by the power of God. And these aren't there's nothing cool about these things. There's someone I knew who I'll probably say more about him eventually, but not someone I talk to anymore. When he was he's in early 20s, mid to early 20s. He tried to summon the devil. He was like me at the time. He was deep in like the LaVeyan Satanism stuff. He's like, oh, but he didn't. LaVeyan Satanism is like really edgy atheism, but some people still believe in like the devil as this archetype you can kind of like manifest. So like it's not real, but you can kind of like enter a state of self-delusion where you think it's real, and you kind of work with this imaginary like a very complicated imaginary friend. So he tries to do this thing, and he encounters something that he said terrified him, and it wasn't the cool, dashing, Byronic Miltonian hero he was expecting. And he even like asked it at one point, like, aren't you supposed to be like amazing? Isn't there supposed to be more here? Something inspiring? And the only feeling he got from this encounter was just a strong no, no. This is it's nothing but horror underneath here. So yeah, Satanists, you aren't going to get a phone call from Dr. Cool Devil. You're going to have an encounter with a super powered transcendental crackhead who only wants to eat you. And in this life or the next, and that's unfortunately what happened to Barry McLean. Yeah, so demons are basically the real life equivalent of H.P. Lovecraft's fictitious eldritch elder gods. Yeah, I think I think a funny statement someone once said that Christianity is kind of like reverse Lovecraft mythos. You have this the cosmos kind of overtaken by all these foul eldritch powers, but you have a god here that's ready and willing to purge the cosmos of these powers. Vic says, I just missed what you said about LaVeism, but in my view, it does come off as just edgy Satanism. I think the real scary primeval type stuff you find with Crowley. Crowley was more a charlatan than LaVey was. LaVey, what LaVey and Satanism was, I guess, is like this very theatrical atheism. They did perform what they could call magic rituals and stuff like that, but what they consider it still that these are what they call psychodramas. Like you're manipulating heavy and intense emotional symbolism to kind of like program your brain to certain expectations and habits and things. So magic is more an act of self-transformation to them than it is of like exterior transformation. But they think there's, it can get complicated, and if you really want to get into it, I recommend not getting into it. But his books are all out there. I used to have them all, like I said, but I burned them all away. So it's complicated, but there are nowadays more. It's funny because Satanism, LaVey, the Church of Satan, LaVey's Church of Satan. They had their own schism. They had their own schism in the 70s or the 80s with Michael Aquino. He was an army guy, psychological warfare operations. Not a general, colonel, I think. Yeah, colonel. And he started an organization after he split away and took a bunch of members with him called the Temple of Set. That they were like the Satanists, except they believed in that there was a literal, dark God that you can communicate and ask things of. However, the Church of Satan, the LaVey Church of Satan, still calls themselves atheists, and that they call people who believe in a literal Satan, they call it theistic Satanists. They call them basically reverse Christians, which is true, but it's like they're not any more reverse Christians than the LaVey Satanists are. I mean, you still have an antichrist, anti-human morality, and you're all still going to hell if you don't repent. So, whatever. LaVey Satanism is hot topic libertarianism. Yeah, definitely. That's pretty. There's also a lot of appreciation of Ayn Rand in those circles. How pathetic you have to be. Seriously. Check if somebody is in my DMs. Okay, we do have someone. I kind of don't want. Okay, let's do this. 13 minutes ago, probably while I was reading Mary McLean.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
This is a bad idea.
Hey, good to meet you, Rose.
This is a fur intellect. Why are you doing this to yourself?
I'm just here for fun.
Repent of being a furry, man. This is awful.
Lord have mercy.
Look. Okay. I invited you on to dunk on you for being a furry because I see you liking my stuff on Twitter. I'm like, okay, your posts are good, but then I can't help look at the avatar and be like, God, this degenerate trash. From the beginning of the furry fandom, or the funny animal fandom, as it was called in the very beginning, was this. It's always been about perversion.
That's not wrong.
What's the logic to this?
Aesthetics.
I can't help but think it's perverted aesthetics, though. Because I also liked the little Fox Robin movie back when I was a kid, but I've never built an identity out of things that I attached to myself as a kid.
Dude, it's just an avatar.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it? I once told
Pretty
my buddy.
much. I don't really do any stupid role play shit, so.
I once told this guy Yanni, who I've had blocked for a long time because he's well, I'm not gonna speak bad of him on the open, but I told him he always has female anime avatars, and what I told him was like always having a female avatar and being a man. It's kind of like digital transgenderism. Like
a lot of people make the stupid assumption that if you have, like, say, a cat girl avatar, oh, you must be a girl. It's like, are you stupid? There's no girls on the internet.
plenty of girls on the internet. Maybe that was true in like the 4chan era back when men dominated the internet, but now the freaking internet is disgusting.
Overrun with thoughts.
It's female, like up the wazoo. It's obscene.
There's thoughts everywhere.
But before the female problem on the internet was the furry problem.
Yep.
And yet don't you think it's wrong to participate in this? There are aesthetics I'm attracted to that I know I shouldn't be, so I kind of avoid them. I'm still attracted to like the dark satanic aesthetics, like this dark imagery of fire, everything's red and black, all this.
Oh, so you like metal album covers then?
Yeah, shit like that, man. But like, I know I can't. Like, I know my ultimate allegiance is something a little better, so I have to kind of like, ignore those impulses in myself. The same with porn. I mean, like, fighting off porn was a hell of a struggle, man. It was way harder.
It is a heck of a struggle.
Yeah, but so I can't say that like I didn't like watching it, but like I said, my allegiance was more strongly to my wife and to Christ and to the dignity of the human form, I guess you could say.
As it should be.
So who are you for intellect? I'm gonna stop roasting you so hard here.
I'm just some goofball on the internet. Occasionally I shitpost, talk anti-Semitic stuff on Twitter, retweet stuff regarding to all sorts of subjects ranging from politics to information about various different stupid stuff going on in tech and the like. I tend to retweet a lot of stuff about that.
You work in the tech field? Or
no. I would like to at some point in the future, but I'm less optimistic about that, given what's been going on lately.
Well, you can join Shanley and try to dismantle the tech field. But then you have to join Shanley's little movement.
I'd be more interested in, like, seeing if it would be possible to restart it from scratch apart from everything else, but I'm not sure if I actually have the ability to do so. I wouldn't know where to get started with that.
Well, Shanley's an awful person. If you don't know the reference,
I apologize. It went over my head.
She's hilariously psychotic.
Oh wait,
Feminist.
Shanley, that crazy feminist on Twitter.
Shanley. Shanley is so hilariously over the top psychotic.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh boy. Great scale of monasticism is the best aesthetic there is. Sadly, I think like using it outside of its context, Paul Bunyan, is like I guess sacrilegious, but it really is, man. That's just like peak aesthetics. But the aesthetics you gotta earn, which I guess what makes it so valuable as well. In case you don't know, Flawed Intellect, I'm reading the comments here on the live stream.
Yeah, I noticed.
Okay. Have you heard the show much?
I've heard a few episodes of your show with one of my friends.
Yeah. What episode was that?
Hang on, let me check the page.
If we haven't had like regular episodes in a while, we've just been doing like these shit posty live streams for a little bit.
Of course, of course. So far, I've listened to your podcast on The Hateful Eight, your podcast on Trolling as an Art Form,
Oh, man.
Atheism is for Plebs, your Fuck You Bill Nye stream, your talk with Jay Dyer, and half of your podcast on nihilism, which I'm guessing is to do with Friar Seraphim Rose's book Nihilism, The Roots of the Revolution of the Modern Age.
Father Seraphim Rose, not Friar.
Oh, sorry, Father.
Yeah, it's a precinct designation. Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic book. I recommend it to everybody, even atheists.
It is a good book.
I give it to I gave it to my brother, who's like, I guess atheist, agnostic, something. I guess he didn't really think about it much. Didn't really think about religion much, but you know, he's been on the kind of the same kind of brain train where like you know the critiques of modernity and stuff like that. So I gave it to him this Christmas. I don't even think he's ready yet because he hasn't talked to me about it, which means it's probably sitting on his bookshelf. So I gotta start putting the peer pressure on him to crack that one open.
Mm-hmm. I recently picked up a copy of Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future, and I intend to work my way through it.
Incredible book, man. That book will freak you out. That one, that was written at the height of the New Age movement in America. In some respects, the New Age movement, I mean, it hasn't died; it's still around. But some of the stuff has been like some of the principles of it had kind of like baked into American society.
Yeah.
But as far as like the kind of like front and center New Age movement, it's pretty much gone. Now it's just kind of this.
Yeah, it became very watered down over time, kind of faded into irrelevance.
Yeah, but
although its impact does remain, and to some extent, there was a sort of resurgence of those themes back in the 90s. You'd notice that in like the earlier episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger, and even some episodes of the old X-Files kind of dabbled in themes like that.
Yeah, I remember X-Files came when I was a kid. I would watch it I was on Fridays, I think, back in that day. Didn't that show on the rails? I think that was back before they had like. There was an era of television, where like it was more episodic than it was like long form storytelling.
Yeah, that's true.
And so
that isn't to say that there wasn't an overarching plot. It's just usually it was more in the background, and it wasn't quite. It was usually more in the background, and it wasn't quite drawn out, and it was done in such a way where you could basically watch the episodes in any order.
Yeah. I think what really put the nail in the coffin for that, and really put out the era of like long form storytelling, almost exclusively at this point, was Lost. Did you watch Lost?
I never really got into it.
Oh man, Lost was so good, dude. I just did a rewatch of it like a couple of years ago with the wife because we both watched it back when it was out, but we weren't dating at the time. So, so now that we're like been together for a few years, we're like, hey, we both watched Lost separately. Let's watch it together. Went through all 6 seasons of it. Man, it was still good. But it was funny. The second season, I guess as an atheist, I didn't appreciate how religious the second season was. The entire second season is like just one giant polemic against atheism, against doubt, and it was really pretty incredible. And it kind of came out at the right time where I was kind of grappling with leaving atheism at the time. So saw that and it really just kind of like got me thinking. And then also The Leftovers. You ever watched The Leftovers?
No.
Oh, bro. This one of some guys who made Lost, he did the show The Leftovers. It was an HBO show. Really bizarre. And honestly, the first season is just depressing in its bleakness. And what was really weird about it is that they would make the season and they wouldn't tell you if there was another season coming. So you just kind of just wondered if that was the end every season. So it's about where 2% of the world's population just vanishes one day, all in one instant. And there's no explanation, there's no process, that just in one instant, they're all gone. And so it's kind of how like I guess humanity is trying to make sense of it. So you have all kinds of weird cults popping out. You have people going freaking crazy. Yeah, some people who think they're seeing visions, and like maybe it's real, maybe not. But I think it's kind of like the people who made it are like very modern. Kind of okay. There's that dude. What's his name? The dude who's like does that CNN show where he travels the world talking to different religious people, and he got in trouble because he ate like human brains on one episode. You know what I'm talking about?
Isn't that kind of something in Hinduism?
Yeah. It was this weird Hindu sect that eats dead people, and so he hung out with them and ate human brains with them, and they threatened to kill him because he was gonna puke, and they're like, what's wrong with you? You're gonna puke? What are you, weak? And so I don't know where I got from, but he was one of the consultants in the show, and they all have this like kind of this like I guess like Peterson kind of view of religion, where it's like, oh, it's like these useful symbolism like psychologically, but like maybe it's not real.
In other words, they basically treat it as a sort of inner psychological pattern rather than anything to do with any sort of external supernatural reality.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that there's a lot of that perspective kind of in the show where you weren't sure the things that these people are experiencing or seeing or being led towards or is actually there, or it's just kind of like them working out their own issues, because everyone in the show has serious freaking issues of all sorts. But the best scene, it is 5:30. I will end the stream here. But the best scene, if you can look it up, I'm telling you guys to go look it up. I'll tell you what to punch into here to the search bar on YouTube. Leftovers funeral. Maybe this scene won't have as much impact if you don't know the characters, if you don't know what led them up to this point. But it's a scene where they're burying this woman who's she's a member of this really insane cult. Through various sequence of events, she dies. They have to bury her in the woods. They can't tell anybody about it. And he reads this passage from Job, where Job is lamenting over his like befuddlement, kind of like his intense confusion during his trials given to him, and so it's almost like the passage is really it's really incredible. He's just saying like, I don't understand. God's this terrifying force that does whatever he pleases, and I can't do anything about it. So it's a really good show. I recommend it, guys. If you wanna waste your time watching TV, maybe you should read something instead. Well, guys, it's been a fun one. Thank you, Flawed/Ferd Intellect, for hanging out with me. They're the last half of this stream here. And hey, tell you what, I'll follow you back on Twitter.
All right.
I've been avoiding it. I've been like, I want to follow a furry back.
I don't fault you. A lot of them tend to like and retweet a bunch of degenerate crap. I, for the most part, try to avoid that.
Well, all right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
I follow a lot of Christian accounts.
Oh, cool. That's the idea. Good stuff, then. All right, bro. I'll see you guys.
Take care.